Hello everyone. Today we're talking about mental health awareness in Nigeria. My name is Isijere and you're watching the log on Written by Isi. Today I have Chenaniah Bamishile. She's a mental health awareness advocate and the founder of the Niah Foundation. Hello Chenaniah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So to my first question, explain to me what the Niah Foundation is about and your work in Nigeria.
The Naya Foundation is a foundation dedicated to mental health awareness, promoting mental health awareness in Nigeria, and also promoting the inclusion of special needs children into systems in Nigeria, special needs individuals in general, but particularly children, because our work in Nigeria basically is, and I think I said this earlier, is that in Nigeria, there's not enough mental health awareness. So we don't have policies in place to support people who are mentally challenged. Why? Because the government doesn't see the need. The government's laws are supposed to reflect the needs of the people, which is why we're in a democracy. But when the people don't even see the need or don't understand why certain things are happening, then those laws won't be put in place. So there are people fighting for these laws to be put in place and to be implemented in the country. But there also has to be people, which is Niah Foundation, that promote the awareness of it. So primarily, I'm a mental health awareness advocate. And so that's what Niah Foundation does on different skills through content creation, which is through interviews of people going through different mental health challenges to bring more awareness to those particular challenges, or through animated series. We have an animated series, or different things. I even have infomercials that we've been working on, where it's just videos of me explaining different mental health challenges and just general flyers and posts and challenges. Like, okay, we challenge you to talk to someone today about mental health, this type of things, or self-care Saturday. Okay, challenge you to take care of your mental health today, this type of things. So there is that, and there's also, and all that is on our online platforms. Then we have the in-person outreaches that we do. So we go to different schools and different facilities. Like recently I was at a correctional facility, a youth correctional facility, where we go and talk about mental health to people. So it's in person. We're going out there talking to people at grassroots level and just people that may not have access to social media or not see our content. Yeah, so that's what we do. And then as for promoting inclusion for special needs people, it's tough to be in Nigeria to begin with. Imagine, because there's no proper welfare system in place to help people and support people, especially with the way the economy is going. Now imagine having special needs, needing special medication, special food, special attention, not being able to do things for yourself, especially because you don't have access to the type of education you'd want. Why? Because let's talk about accessibility, for instance, of buildings in Nigeria. How many buildings are actually wheelchair accessible, which is something that should be a law, that before you build a building, a commercial building or a building for like an institution, it needs to be wheelchair accessible. Because the thing is, these people are seen as such a minority that their needs are not considered. Special needs people, disabled people, people with mental health challenges. And because of that, these facilities aren't put in place. So if this person can't even go to school or get a job because they can't even enter the offices, then how are they supposed to actually defend themselves and stop being dependent? So they live the rest of their lives fully dependent on someone else, which is why we're saying that they need to be more involved in systems. It's not even like a personal thing, it's a systemic issue where it's like we don't have the facilities to include these people into our society, and that's where the problem lies. That's where the problem is essentially, and we're trying to bring awareness to that. So that's what we're doing. And so we also go visit kids at home, special needs children, and just things like that. Yeah.
Nice. So tell me about your recent work with Impact and Inspire.
Okay, so my work with Impact and Inspire, the founder of Impact and Inspire, Pastor Wuraola, Wuraola Williams. She's an amazing woman who had gone through a very traumatic experience, having to give birth at such an early age, and she was put out of the house during that period. So she could personally relate, and she started the foundation Impact and Inspire, where she primarily works with the Lagos State Youth Correctional Facility. They have a rehabilitation center somewhere in Idiaraba, Lagos State. I think that's somewhere near Ojuelegba. And so she hosts a yearly conference for them where it's like, I think 3 days to a week. She brings in different speakers, and then they come in and, just help impact and inspire those children, really. So I was invited alongside my mom, because my mom does a lot of work like this as well. So I was invited to come talk to the youth there about mental health. And these are people that have committed crimes at such a young age. And you think like, okay, what could push a child at this age to commit such a crime? These are people that are homeless. They've been put out, or their parents just left them on the streets. So that's like what Lagos State is doing to help them. It's kind of like a halfway home for them. And so I went to speak during the conference to just talk to them, tell them, this is how to take care of your mental health. This is how to watch out for another person's mental health. It wasn't very in-depth. It was just surface level mental health awareness. We need a whole conference of our own to talk about every little thing that has to do with mental health. But yeah, we did the little we can as usual. So.
Okay, and you said you've interviewed people with different mental health challenges.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's important for them to share their stories?
Okay, so I think it's one thing for you to, Google what's bipolar disorder and see on Mayo Clinic or on Wikipedia what BPD is. And it's another thing to speak to someone that's actually going through BPD. So you take it away from the science of it and the text and the theory, and you see this is it. This is someone functioning with it, and this is how it comes to play in their lives. So I ask questions like, how has this affected you psychologically, financially, physically, like socially? What's your support system been like? What are the type of things you need? Because when you go on sites, they'll tell you, okay, this is how you can support someone that has BPD. But who's the best person to tell you? A doctor or someone that's actually going through it that will tell you, okay, when I'm going through this at this time, this is what I need.
So I like having conversations with young people because obviously we're going to be the leaders of our different countries in the future. But looking at the larger Nigerian population, there's this issue of stigmatization when it comes to mental health. Mm-hmm. So how do we as young people take responsibility and ensure that we're changing the narrative as we go forward?
I think the very first step towards changing a narrative is having said conversations. So it's something I consciously do where I try to talk to people about their mental health. I'm like, well, how are you doing today? What's your mental health like today? I have a little thing I do with my friends. I have a mental health check and I say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10 or a scale of 1 to 100, where are you mentally? Like 60 today? Okay, cool. It's a good day. We can move. And so making these things normal, normalizing mental health checks, so that once you're doing mental health checks, if someone tells you I'm on a 20 today, you've already opened the room to have a conversation about, okay, why are you on a 20 today? What's going on? You're feeling depressed. Why? The thing is, the more people talk about things, the more normal it gets. And the more normal it gets, the less stigma is attached to certain things. Also, awareness. Social media is such a powerful tool. If we promote awareness on different things, like the interviews here, where it's like, we've seen someone who has this condition and is functioning fine. This person is not a rabid dog, isn't someone that needs to be put in a corner or excluded from conversations or certain decision making because of a certain condition. When people realize and humanize people with these illnesses or these challenges and realize it's the same thing as having malaria, it's an illness, it's a challenge. You get through it or you live with it and you function regardless. So social media is very important. Having those conversations are very important. And I would say that I think our generation is doing a very good job. There is a lot of progress when it comes to mental health coming from where it was before and where we are now. I think now it's even more of an issue of trivialization as opposed to stigmatization, because people know that because of the awareness we have, we know that special attention or special care is given to people with these challenges, because as they should be, they're special needs people. Then people want to take advantage of that. People want to be treated different. And so you see so many people, like I said, claiming things that they don't have. And that's where the trivialization comes in. And there's always there's always a trending illness at a time. There was a time that was OCD. Everybody was OCD. You have OCD. If you're neat, you have OCD. Then there was a time that it was ADHD. There was a time that it different things people just claim because they see the attention that people that get it, that have it, are given, and people want that. So I think if anything, that's something our generation should work on, because once something is trivialized, then it doesn't have the value and the impact that it's supposed to have. So people that actually need the help may not be given the help that they need because someone else that didn't really have it has misused it. Do you understand? Yeah. So I think that's what I would say our generation should be more mindful of. Mm-hmm. And read a book sometime, research, go. Not everything you see on social media is correct. Fact check. TikTok promotes a lot of wrong facts about mental health. I follow this particular lady. She's a therapist, German woman, and she's always a psychologist actually and a lecturer. And all her page is dedicated to is just bringing up videos that she's seen on TikTok where they're talking about psychologists, and she's like, no, this is not correct. Like, you can't keep putting out content like that. You need to, before you put out content, you need to be sure that this is correct, and not just because Wikipedia said so. Yeah. Actually go through people's thesis, like people's research, proper work that has been put out to validate that, okay, this is actually what this is correct. Yeah. And useful sources, it's always helpful.
Okay, so part of the reasons I really wanted to interview you is because your page, your platform is very unique, even like your personal platform. So tell me a bit more about why you do this personally, even outside of the Naya Foundation.
Naya Foundation. I always say that I'm a worldwide volunteer. Anytime I don't know how to put it. If I hear we need to help, I'm there. I don't care who we're helping, who we're helping with, whatever it is, I'm there. And I realized I started doing it a lot, and it's just fun to create content around it. And so I started doing my mini vlogs about, okay, I went to, volunteer here, I went to volunteer here. I started even getting pulled in on like group chats where I don't know anyone. I don't even know the person who added me, and they're like, okay, we're volunteering to go to that. And I'm just like, alrighty, let's go. The time we met to begin with at the medical outreach, I didn't know anyone there. So they were like, okay, how did you join? I was like, I don't know. I just saw myself in the group chat. It's not very safe, but here I am. And I had a great time. I met so many amazing people, and it's opened me up to more opportunities to do more volunteer work. And I mean, to be here right now, do you understand? So I like volunteering. I like helping people. It's so much fun. It's just, it does something for you when you can help people. And, they were here before, you put them in a more advantageous situation. Why not? Yeah. Why, what other thing do you want to be doing that you can't be helping people? Because everyone needs help at the end of the day. And there's some days that it may not be, you may be having the longest day and you're just wishing someone would have done something nice for you that day. That's the way they're hoping someone does something nice. So the same way I'd be appreciative of it, I would want to do that to someone else and hope they appreciate it as well and it can help them. And so I started creating content because, why not? And also because it brought a lot of awareness to those things that were happening. So, okay, I go to Makoko community and then I'm doing outreaches and then people are like, okay, how can I donate to this? Yeah. Oh, okay, this is so nice what you're doing. How can I be a part of this? So it's inspiring other people to volunteer and do all these type of things, and also bringing more attention to those causes and those foundations that I'm working with, and people want to donate. And I think that's also why people start inviting me to volunteer. I come for things and I hope you're making your content. I'm like, yeah. So I think that's something my platform is dedicated to, and it's a bit different. Like you said, it's very unique because I don't think I've seen anyone do what I do. So it was tricky to go into that because it's an aspect of content creation that there's no one I'm particularly emulating. Mm-hmm. I'm just doing my thing and hoping it works. And it's been working so far, so why not?
So you're creating content around very sensitive issues.
Of course.
Times. So first of all, what are some of the challenges you face and how do you overcome them?
Okay, so first things first. People think you're only doing this to create content, forgetting the fact that I was doing this before I even started creating content. Mm-hmm. That's why you would even see the Naya Foundation page. There's a lot of things we've done that I haven't even put out. Sometimes I started having to take a team of people. With recent things that I've done, I have people come with me so they can record. I completely forget to create content. I'm so immersed in what I'm doing. So a major challenge would be, first things first, you have to seek permission from anyone you're helping. And I let them understand that it's not a requirement. Okay, if you want to get this help from us, you have to be picture ready. No, Ma, do you mind? And she's like, I'm fair. I don't want them. I said, fine, no problem. Turn it off. That's not why we're here. This is secondary. The help is primary. Because people, at the end of the day, because they need help, they don't necessarily want to be publicized. Some people don't mind. They're so excited. They'll be the ones record, I want to be paused, and they're running. And it's always exciting to have these people. But also, you have to respect people. I think there's also situations where it's I remember there was a time I went to a special needs home, Naya Foundation. I went with a group of people to give, and we were supposed to, spend some time with the kids. And they told us that, oh yeah, no, you can't actually spend time with you. Just drop the things you came and leave. I was so heartbroken because that was how I planned to spend my whole day, just playing with the kids. And I had been there before and I had spent time with the kids multiple times, but then they were like, yeah, no, not today. And so things like that happen. And so so my content can't be as consistent as other content creators because it's not planned. I'm not going to style outfits and everything, which is why I even said maybe I was going to start doing other content to engage my, audience. But when it comes to content creation about charity work, and you have to be cautious not to come off as you're using these people for clout. At the end of the day, because people can perceive it as that. You have to be conscious, careful not to do that. How you speak on certain issues is also important because you can talk about something I always try to make my things as jovial and friendly, and I joke about a lot of things, and you have to be cautious not to joke about the wrong thing, and then it'll be bruh. No, you have to be, it's you're walking on eggshells, but to me, I would say it comes naturally. It does come a bit naturally, so that would help. That helps.
That's nice. So I thank you for telling us about what you do. It's been really interesting, like looking at you, researching your page, and just getting to know a bit more about your work. But yeah, tell me if there's anything else you have to say.
Anything I have to say? Okay, so I have something coming up very soon. So I'm going to start an official YouTube channel because I had been doing all my content creation on Instagram. So I also have a podcast where I discuss social issues. So I want to merge my foundation work and my personal volunteer work with my podcast, which is that I will be interviewing different people that, you know, are relatively impactful in society and people want to know more about while they do charity work with me. So watch out for that. And that's something I have in the works. I have said that I don't want to post anything until I have about 5 episodes down. Okay. So yeah, I'm doing that right now, creating the content, putting it together. So yeah, you guys should watch out for that.
Nice. Thank you, Naya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Issy. I'm super excited.
It's a wrap, guys.
Bye.